Hello everyone, this is Akash Chauhan again, and in our previous lecture we have covered about the need of object-oriented programming approach and the characteristics of C++. In today's lecture we will focus on the namespace and header files and preprocessor directives. So before understanding all of these topics, let's do some groundwork so that we can understand what is the basic use or the meaning of header file or the namespace or the preprocessor directive. So without any further ado, let's start. Okay, so to understand these topics, let's first let me write a program. Okay, so I have written a program. So in this program, if you are able to see that we are using hash and then we are using include. So as I have already mentioned about the preprocessor work, uh, uh, if you remember that we have discussed about hash defined, where we have used max and value 100. So in that case, in that particular case, wherever we have written max in our program, it will be replaced by the 100. And the job will be done by the preprocessor, right? And we are using hash include here, hash include, and let's say header file we're using. So this is actually the header file. So we are able to see this wherever there is a hash, it means this work will be done by the preprocessor. So wherever there is a hash, this work will be done by preprocessor. Okay, so compiler wouldn't need to spend much of their time. So this symbol is called preprocessor directive. Okay, so this symbol is called preprocessor. So wherever there is such a symbol in our program, it is not a part of the program actually. Okay, because the part of the program will always end with the this semicolon. Okay, so this will be handled whatever we are going to use, either include or define, it will be executed or handled by the preprocessor only, and this symbol is called the preprocessor directive. Okay, let's focus on this part now. Okay, this include, and then we will focus on this IO stream part. Okay, so include and the difference between defined and the include is basically used to include the header file into your source code. So in that case, IO stream is the header file which is going to be included in your program, right? So this include is, so hash include is used for including header file into your source code. Okay, let's discuss about the IO stream. So in that case, IO stream is the header file. So preprocessor directive we have understood. Let's focus on the second part, is the header file. So header file is nothing but the class objects. So let me write a definition first of all. Okay, then we will discuss over that. So here is the definition. Header file is a collection of declaration of class objects. It means it is not, the header file is not going to include the source code itself, but the declarations of the class objects. We will focus on the class objects as well, but you must understand this header file, in that case IO stream, is not the source code. It is the declaration of class objects. So in our code, what is the class object? This cout is the class object. Okay, cout is the class object of OStream class. We will look at this class as well, but you must understand cout is the object class. So this is the object of OStream class. So we will look at this part very carefully to understand what is the use of that. But first you must understand that the header file is nothing but the collection of declarations of class objects. So in our case, cout is the class object. So cout, if cout is the class object, then the motive here is this cout. This cout actually, if you look at it, already mentioned that this is the object of OStream class. Okay, so to understand this in more depth, let's locate IOStream header file, and we will look, if possible, we can also look at the OS stream as well. Okay, here we are in my Ubuntu. So let's locate the header file here. So for that, click on Files, and in Files, click on Other Locations, Computers, User, then mm, Include, C++, 9, and here we have our all header files. So we are going to focus on IOStream. Let's open that. Our interest is in IOStream header file as of now. So here we are able to see this extern IO OStream cout, right? And we are able to see it is saying that link to the standard output. Okay, so let's focus, or let's understand this term first. Okay, extern is basically used to make a variable global variable. It means the cout will be considered as a global variable throughout the file. It means cout will be only one. This name will always be used as a o stream class. So this is the class and this is the object. That's why we say cout is a class object, and this class is basically uh, handles handles your output streams over console. Okay, so cout is the what cout is the object of class name OStream, and OStream is basically handles output stream over console. So that is the main point that we need to understand. So cout some would be somehow, handling the functionality of this class, and this class is responsible for output stream. Okay, and the handling will be over the console. So let's try to understand this cout statement in our program. So we write cout like this, and we use this insertion operator, and then we write some string over here. Let's look at that. So this cout is the class object. Okay, and this is the insertion operator. This is simply string. This is class object, and class object communicate with the monitor or console. Okay, so here we have this string. Let's understand the flow of this statement. String will be passed to this insertion operator. Insertion operator will access this string, then this insertion operator will forward the string or the input which this insertion operator has received. Okay, so this insertion operator will pass this string to the cout, what to say, this object. Okay, so this string will eventually be passed to this object, and this object is the class object of which class? OStream. OStream class, right? And OStream class is responsible for the output stream to be handled at the monitor or the console. So this string will be printed at the monitor or the console eventually. So this is the actual flow. Okay. So I think so far we have understood the use of preprocessor directive and the header files. Okay, but you must always focus on this part, that header file is a collection of declarations of class objects. It is not the source code itself, it is just the declaration of class objects. As we have seen here, that extern o stream, okay, is cout is the class object of class o stream, and o stream is basically to handle your output stream over console or monitor. That's why we are able to see, we usually see our result over console or the monitor, because the O stream is responsible for the handling of the stream, the output stream or the character stream at the monitor or the console. Okay, so this is about the header file. Let's start the new topic. This is the new topic, namespace. So what is the use of namespace? Let me write a program. This program would also work fine. Let me copy it. Okay. Okay. So as you are able to see that this is a preprocessor directive. This is including function, and this is the header file itself. We have already discussed about it. But what about this line? This second line, we are using namespace and std. Okay, what happen if we don't use this? So uh, let me write a program, okay, and let's see if we don't use this line, then what kind of error it will show. Okay, and then we will fix that error. Then only we will be able to understand what is the use of namespace in our program. So let me write a program in my Ubuntu. Okay, so guys, this is the very basic program I have written. In this program, what I'm trying to do is I'm simply going to print my first program on over the console, and end line is just similar to the new line. It will end this statement, and here we are going to use using namespace. So for testing purpose, let's comment it out. Okay, we let's comment it, and let's see what kind of error our program will show to us, so that we can understand the use of namespace quite well. Okay, so let me close it. Let me open my terminal here. Let me compile it and run it. Okay, so this is my program. Now this is my program. Let me compile it. Okay, and it is showing you some kind of error. Cout was not declared in this scope. So let me copy it so that we can understand it. Okay, let me copy it. Okay, so this is saying that it is error. Okay, and cout was not declared in this scope. Did you mean std cout? Okay, it means we are not using this namespace std in our program. It is saying that cout was not declared in this scope. So what is the meaning of that? Let's try to understand. Uh, so for that, let's say we have a header file 1, header file 2, header file, header file 3. Okay, so we have grouped a header file, or the objects we have written in our header files, uh, and we are saying this header file is a this this group name is std, this group name is std. So we are saying that all the functions we have written here, whatever we have written, function, objects, constructors, okay, whatever we have written, it will only be accessed by this group name or the scope. In C++, we say the scope of the variable or the object or the functions. We usually talk about in terms of scope. So it is saying that we are able to find cout in iostream file, okay, but we are not able to identify the scope of it because cout comes in the default scope, and the default group name default is this the collection of uh, important class objects. So we have used a lot of like cout, cin, and many other class objects in the standard or the default scope, and it is represented by std. So in our program, if I simply put std over here and saying that cout is basically the is in standard the default scope, so the compiler can understand, okay, the declaration I have found, the scope I have found, then it is meaningful. Okay, then I can execute the program. So let me write this in our program. It is my program, and I'll write the scope for that. The scope is std. Okay, not capital letter. So this is the way to declaring the scope of a variable. Still, we are not going to use the same thing, right? Okay. So this is about the cout, and the end of the line is also in this scope itself. If we don't write it, it will show you the same error. Let me save it and execute it. So it will probably wouldn't show you. So it is not showing any error. My object file name is abc. So it is saying my first program. Okay. So if we can use it like this, std colon colon and again, then let's say we have 1000 times we have used cout, so we have to use this std colon colon with every cout or whatever objects we are referring to as a standard or the default namespace. We have to define this std. So instead of doing so, we can remove this and this, and we can uncomment this line. So it will say the default namespace is std. You don't need to write it. You can directly use the objects, the functions, or whatever is in this namespace directly. Let me save it and execute. First compile it and execute the same. It must show you the same output. So it is saying the same thing. So here we have used a optimized way because we are not going to use the scope of the variables, scope of the objects, scope of the functions in our program. So by default, the std is the default namespace in which we have cout, endline, scene, log, error, lot of class objects and functionality. So far we understood the uh, use of namespace somehow. Okay, so let me write a small definition over the namespace. We have understood the use of namespace, so let me write a small definition on that. Okay, so we have understood this definition. It assign the scope for variables, objects, or constructor etc. We have assigned the scope. Okay, so it assign a scope. It means it is somehow giving you the access of all those object functions or the constructor you have written in that particular namespace. The second definition is a little different. It helps to identify variable scope in all the namespaces. So to understand this definition, because we have not understood what it is saying, so let me write a program so that we can understand what is the meaning of that. Okay. So let me write a program. So I have written a program, a very simple program regarding the namespace. If you look at it very carefully, we are using namespace as std1, okay, and we are using namespace as std2. So we have defined two variables, x10 and x50.
So if you are able to see, then the name of the variable in both the spaces is same. Okay, x here we have used, and here we have also used x, but different value. So as we have written two variables, but if we want to access only this value, okay, we want to access value 10 of x value, then we are using std1 as the namespace and the variable, okay, and it will print you the value of x here. It is simply, it will print my first program, and in the second line, because we are breaking the line, it will print 10. So if we want to print 15, then we can use simply std2 colon colon x. It will read x in this namespace. So without any further ado, let's implement this program in our Ubuntu. Okay, let me save this, or let me open it in my. So this is the program I was discussing you over my notebook. So this program will print the x value, because x value is a 10, because we are using std1 namespace instead of std2. So let me run this program. So this is simple one. Will compile and it will print you. So it is saying x is 10. And if we want to print x is 15, then what we need to do, simply let's go open my program what I have written, and simply instead of 1 type 2, save it, compile it, let's compile it again, and it will show you 15 now. So this is the way it x is 15 now. So this is the way the namespace helps us to identify the scope of the variable. So here in this program, if you are able to see, we are identifying the scope. It means either x is in this scope or it is in this scope. Okay, so we can use the same names with different scope, so they can we can always identify the scope of the variables or the functions or the objects. Okay, so this is about the namespace. I hope you guys have understood the use of namespace. First of all, we have understood the use of namespace by eliminating it in my program, so that we got this error, and then we have found out that what is the way to get out to resolve this error by using std keyword with colon with cout, right? Or we have used the end line as well, the same keyword. It is the default namespace as we have discussed. Then we have discussed about this definition. Probably now you would be able to understand this definition. Now it helps us to identify the variable scopes in all the namespaces. So we have written this program for different namespaces. This is first space namespace. This is the second one. So if we want to use x as a 15, then we have to write the respective namespace history to the variable name. So with that, we can identify the variable scope, right? So this is a so guys, today this is about this is all about the header files in the namespace. In the next lecture, we will be covering about the different data types, the primary data types, the derived data types, or we will see the related information as well. So for today's, thank you so much, guys. Have a good day.